Hey guys, it's Jesse from PS4 Daily, and on today's PSN Weekly, we're here to talk about Pure Pool from Ripstone Publishing and Fufu Studios. But first, now let's talk about what I just showed you for a second. What I just showed you is probably one of the most beautiful transitions going from intro to a game that personally I've ever seen. And it's actually both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing because the initial loading time for Pure Pool seems like it takes forever, at least in my opinion. But from then on, what you have is absolutely very short load time, something I'd like to see in more next-gen games, and smooth transitions from then on out. Going from game to game, match to match, takes almost no time whatsoever. And even today, I'm still surprised by that. 4 hours into the game, I'm still floored by how little load times there are after that first big one. And I'd say the payoff was worth it. Now let's get out of free play mode and go to where you're probably going to be spending most of your time while playing Pure Pool, which is its career mode. In career mode, you have either two options: either go into US 8-ball mode, which is standard stripes versus solids mode, or go into 9-ball mode, where you go from ball 1 all the way up to ball 9, and whoever hits in ball 9 at the end wins overall. In those two modes, you have, I believe, 10 tournaments a piece, so there's a lot of content. There's even different difficulties for each mode, so you're going to be playing an amateur tournament, the pro tournament, and then the masterclass tournament. So again, Pure Pool has a lot to it. There are even mini games and just a lot of things to do, especially things that you can do to hone your skills. So honestly, with PSN Weekly, most of the time I'm playing maybe 3-ish, 4 maybe, yeah, I'd say around 3 or 4 hours of a game, because this is a first impressions deal. But with Pure Pool, I found myself exceeding that. I actually had to rip myself away from the game. Like I mentioned, I had to rip myself away from Lego Ninjago Nindroids just because I was having so much fun with it. Pure Pool is a fun game, and that's odd coming from me just because I'm not really a sports fan, I'm not really a pool fan, but somehow Fufu Studios has managed to suck me into the Pure Pool experience. There's so much attention to detail in this game that at times it's mind-boggling. As you guys can see here, or as you guys might see here, if you look in the background a little bit, you can see NPC characters just kind of going about their own business, mingling with each other while playing pool. And if you listen a little bit, you can hear their conversation, or you can hear them talking. You can't actually hear what they're saying, but it's still nice to know that they're talking. In general, it kind of contributes to the pool hall atmosphere that Fufu Studios is trying to sell you on. Also, which you've probably noticed by now, if not from the press material, then this video, the way the balls look. Oh my gosh. The balls look absolutely amazing. Everything from the ball to the actual pool table to the cues. The graphics in this game are just absolutely phenomenal. They help to really get you into the game itself. I'm actually quite impressed, but I'm impressed, but at the same time I'm not impressed. This is definitely something I would expect from Fufu Studios coming off of their Pure Chess franchise, or coming off Pure Chess, which was released on the PS4 earlier this year and PS3 and Vita last year. But it's still surprising to see what they're able to achieve on this hardware, and I can't wait to see what they're able to achieve later on once they've really gotten familiar with it later on in the generation. But yeah, Pure Pool is a game that has a lot of replay value and a lot of things to do outside of the main modes. I think my favorite part about Pure Pool, beyond the atmosphere, is the leveling system. So after each match, you gain experience, and the experience contributes to your overall level. So once you get to a certain level, you'll go from an amateur to a pro to a master, and just things like that. It's used to show your progress in Pure Pool, and I like that. It's cool. It's something that kept me interested in Virtual Tennis 4 when I was playing that on my Vita. Even though I'd beaten the campaign 4 other times, I still kept coming back for more just because I wanted to unlock everything there was to get. I wanted to get all the outfits, I wanted to get all the tennis rackets, I wanted to get just everything in general. And I find that games that kind of reward the player for progress, even if it's just a little bit of progress, are the games that really go the farthest for me. And Pure Pool doesn't just reward the player with experience. Whilst you're in a game, you also earn accolades. You might have noticed those popping up in the upper right hand corner. Basically, these are like little challenges that you can do within each match. So some of them range from getting a certain number of balls in the corner pocket to beating your opponent in this many seconds, or not getting any fouls. It's something we've seen in so many different other types of games like Call of Duty, or most of your first person shooters, even third person shooters like Uncharted had your medal system in Uncharted 3. But having in Pure Pool, it's nice. I like it. And it's one of those things that I do want to see come over to other games, whether they're single player or multiplayer, just because they reward me for doing just things in general. Even if they're small little tasks, it's nice to know that it's nice to know that I'm doing something, not just because I want to get to that final goal, but because I'm getting these little tiny little trinkets that are just edging me a little bit closer to that final goal. So gameplay wise, you're going to play Pure Pool with both the analog sticks and the face buttons. Using the left analog stick, you'll be able to pan around the white ball to kind of see where you need to go to hit the white ball into one of the balls that you're aiming for. So you're going to have a white line, which is going to signal where the white ball is going to go, and then you're going to have a greenish orangish line to tell you where the ball you're about to hit's going to go. This can be fine-tuned by using a combination of the face buttons. So for instance, I believe with X, you're going to be able to move the white ball just a little bit over, or the white line I should say, just a little bit over. And with circle, you can add a little bit of a spin to it just to get it into those corner pocket shots easier. So I mean, that's all nice, and I enjoy it. It has a good control scheme, but the one thing I found that has to be incredibly frustrating with Pure Pool is the fact that you can't zoom. Now, it does allow you to press square and pan around the table itself, but when the time comes to take the shot, you can't zoom in. And for situations where you're clear across the table, you're trying to hit a ball from 200 something centimeters away, not being able to zoom in is kind of frustrating, just because you don't know exactly where you're going to get that ball in, or even sometimes where the white ball might end up, because the white line or the green line or orange line is going to trail off after a certain number of centimeters. So you kind of have to trust yourself, and you have to kind of have to trust your skills in that regard. But I specifically like the fact that that actually hitting the ball is tied to the right stick. Now, it's not just, flick and it goes. You actually have to pull back on the right stick, and depending on how far you pull back and you flick forward, it's going to have more power or even less power. And so there are situations where, you might need less power to get the ball in so it won't ricochet off a certain piece, and you're probably going to see me put in a little bit too much power in certain situations, and that's all fine and dandy. It's a part of the learning process, and it's basically what Pure Pool is, and what pool is in general. It's all about learning what kind of shot to take, how much power you want to put into it, and just things like that. Now, speaking of which, I did play some of Pure Pool with remote play, just because remote play is fun, and
sometimes you want to spend time with the family, you know. But one thing I found while playing pure pool with remote play on the PS Vita is that taking shots with those right sticks on the Vita is a little bit more difficult, just because of the shorter travel time between shorter travel time on the Vita sticks compared to the DualShock 4 sticks. I found that I was a lot more accurate using the DualShock 4 than I was the PS Vita. So shots that required me to be very, very, very careful, kind of more difficult for me to execute on the PS Vita than it was with the DualShock 4. You might not find this, but I did, and that's just something I wanted to bring up. So now you're probably wondering whether you should buy Pure Pool or if you should sit this one out. And honestly, I say go for it. The game's around, I believe, $12 right now on the PlayStation Store, maybe even $10 for PlayStation Plus members. So I mean, it's not something that's going to break the bank. You have a lot of replay value. You have a lot of incentives. You also have online play. You can even download DNA of other people, of some of the Vufu developers, and even your friends to go up against when they're not online. There's a lot to Pure Pool, and I like it. And I say you'll probably like it too, even if you're not much of a pool fan. This is something that even I would go into, before I go to sleep, or before I'm about to take a nap, just to relax. It's something that allows you to relax and really just enjoy the moment. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, either on the PS4 Daily article or on the YouTube page. I'm Jessey with PS4Daily.com, and I'll see you guys later.